Yo, what's going on guys? Beyond here again, Goosebumps #1 Aussie fan bringing you another video, and for today's video we're going to be discussing the Goosebumps sequel. Now guys, obviously it comes as no surprise that not too long ago we just got the title confirmation of the sequel, and it is obviously going to be based on Goosebumps Horrorland. Now, a lot of you guys are asking me, is it going to be based on the actual book itself? Is it going to be, you know, One Day at Horrorland from the original 62, or is it going to be like Return to Horrorland, you know, from the series 2000s? Or is it going to be based on the actual Horrorland books themselves? Now guys, I had a good look at that promo art, and basically I came to the conclusion that, now, when you look at these books, right, what do you see that's very similar to the promo art? It's right there, like it's seriously on the book covers right now. What is very similar to of that promo art, guys? Now, obviously, when they did the first Goosebumps movie, they brought out a promo art, and it was like a green sort of color. It was very similar. It was like green. It had the book sort of opening up, and it had like green mist and everything around it. I'll just put it up there so you guys can see. Now, the Goosebumps sequel one is very similar. It is pretty much the same. The only difference is it's like an orange color. And when I took a hard look at the actual Horrorland books, what did I see? The logo is orange, and it's not just on the first book, okay guys? Not just on the first book. Now, it's not on all the Horrorland books, but it is on most of them. So guys, Revenge of the Living Dummy, Grief from the Deep, Monster Blood for Breakfast, Screams of the Haunted Mask, Dr. Maniac, blah 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 guys, etc, etc. It just goes on and on and on. It's orange, okay? We get that now. It's an orange logo. So yeah, guys, the logo is orange, and it made me think about that promo art, and I thought, hang on, the promo art was orange. I think I know where they're coming from, because guys, what I was trying to wrap around it was, where are they coming from with the sequel? Is it based on One Day at Horrorland? Is it based on Return to Horrorland? Or is it based on the Horrorland books themselves? Now, the first film, guys, obviously, it really focused on the classic Goosebumps books. I mean, we had a few villains from the newer, like, Horrorland books, but they were nothing more than background extras. So they weren't, like, focused on, like, the Abominable Snowman was, like Slappy was, you know. But then again, Slappy is still the mascot in the new books, so it doesn't really matter. Or the Lawn Gnomes, guys, you know, I mean, that's got a Most Wanted book now, you know, or the Werewolf, you know, like, those were like the original Goosebumps monsters that only had like one book, and they really focused on those from the original 62. That's what they really focused on with the original film. But I had a lot of you guys asking me, maybe the Horrorland books don't exist in the Goosebumps film universe, the franchise of the film, guys. Now, it made me think, no, that can't be right, because if you guys remember, just check this out.
You just stay away from us or something bad would happen, but that's a problem with kids today, they don't listen. You had to pick Abominable Snowman of Pasadena. You couldn't have picked Little Shop of Hamsters.
Little Shop of Hamsters. That is a Horrorland book, guys. So, they do in fact exist in the film franchise also, in the film universe, okay? The movie universe of Goosebumps, they do exist. So, these books exist. And guys, it led me to the conclusion about who would be the main villain again. And, guys, you guessed it, it's Slappy. And the reason why Slappy has to be the main villain is because, guys, he is the smartest of all the villains. He is the one that, he's the ringleader. He brings them all together. They all follow him, okay? He's the only real smart one. You know, he has to be the one to lead the villains, like the other monsters. Slappy has to be. You know, they can't have really, like, the Abominable Snowman leading the rest of the monsters, you know, the Haunted Mask. A lot of these villains and monsters, guys, they're mindless, destructive. Slappy is smart. He has a brain. He has to be the one to lead the rest of the monsters, you know? It just makes sense. And he's the fan favorite, you know? Not having him the main villain would just be weird now, you know? It wouldn't be the same. And they need Slappy to be the main villain again, okay? He has to lead the rest of the monsters into monster glory or whatever it is, taking over the world, what Slappy wants to do. Okay, guys? And making everybody his slaves, okay? Because that's what it all comes down to, right? He wants to take over the world, so they're all his slaves. And basically, guys, Slappy has to be the main villain to lead the rest of the monsters, okay? He has to. So, guys, it got me really thinking. So, but back to the whole logo thing being orange. that is where they're coming from. That promo art, it's definitely the Horrorland books, guys. The actual Horrorland books. I just know it is, okay? It may not be. Who knows? It may just be one day at Horrorland, but I have a very strong feeling, guys. A very strong feeling. And it got me thinking. The first book in the Horrorland series is Revenge of the Living Dummy. And as we all know, there is a section of Horrorland in every single one of these books, right at the end. It got me thinking. Could this be the book that the Invisible Boy will end up opening right at the beginning? Now, as you guys remember, the Invisible Boy's revenge on the typewriter, and then it looked as if Stine got like sucked into a book. So I don't know if the Invisible Boy just quickly typed up like Stine gets sucked into a book, trapped forever or something, you know, something very quick. I don't know, guys. And it makes me think that, okay, Stine got trapped into a book right at the end of the film. And then what does the Invisible Boy do? Digs up the Horrorland books, and he's going to open up Revenge of the Living Dummy straight off the bat. Because not only is he going to release Slappy into the world, but at the same time, he is also going to unleash Horrorland. And then Slappy will come back, take charge once again, release all the other monsters, and try to take over the world once again. And it makes me think, what if Stine did get trapped into a book at the end of the first film, and for the sequel, he is pretty much stuck inside that book the whole time, and now it's just up to Zach, Hannah, and Champ, the kids, to try and put a stop to Slappy and Horrorland and free Stine, Hannah's dad. What if that is what the sequel is to be about? Because that would really be Goosebumps, because as we all know, in the actual stories, the heroes are always the kids. So what if this time it really was that? They can't rely on Stine's help this time. It's just the kids have to try and figure out a way to stop Slappy, put, you know, Horrorland back into its book, and, you know, save Stine from being trapped inside the book from the Invisible Boy. What if that is what the plot kind of is? I have a strong feeling it could be. Now, a lot of you guys were saying maybe they get sucked into the book this time, for all we know. They get sucked into Horrorland, and Stine is trapped in the real world with Slappy, and he's causing trouble. And they have to rely on some sort of heroic character in the real world to get them out of the book. So what if... Or what if, no, Zach, Hannah, Champ, and Stine all get sucked into Horrorland thanks to Slappy, and then Slappy's, yeah, on the real world causing trouble and, you know, making everybody his slave, shaping the world in his image sort of thing. What if that's what happens, guys? That would be really interesting, but I just don't see it. I believe that Horrorland will be released, and the whole town will sort of like shape-shift, buildings will be replaced with like rides and stuff, into Horrorland. That's what I believe the sequel is going to be about. I have a very strong feeling, and just going based on that promo art, after really studying and speculating, I just came to the conclusion that it's got to be based off these books. I just know it's based on these books. And guys, you don't need to worry about that there won't be many of the original villains. Yes, there will be, for starters. Slappy, Horrorland. And guys, you're forgetting one thing. Monster blood for breakfast. So we got monster blood right there. Okay, we got, what do we got? Say cheese and die screaming, guys. We got the Say Cheese and Die camera. We've got Who's Your Mummy? We got the Mummy. We've got the Haunted Mask, guys. So there's no need to worry about not bringing back any original monsters. There's plenty of them in the Horrorland books, okay, guys? And these were the ones that came out in 2008. And I remember even when these did come out, there was a little bit of a resurgence with Goosebumps. I remember it did get a little popular again. But guys, that is what I believe. It's based on the Horrorland books, and that's kind of my speculation on what the plot may be. But despite all the speculation, guys, the film is scheduled to be released September 21st of next year, the fall of next year, so we should be getting a lot more updates very shortly about the plot, villains that will be reoccurring or in the sequel, etc., casting, all that awesome stuff. The town will just shapeshift into Horrorland, and then it's up to the kids to try and stop Slappy and free Stine from out of the book, and, you know, obviously put Horrorland back inside. That's just what I think the story is kind of going to be about, based on these books. So, anyway, guys, that's my speculation on the Goosebumps sequel. Let me know your thoughts down below, comment, and let me know what you think the sequel could possibly be about. So, anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you again soon.